Bitcoin, the Bitcoin. I know a lot of you guys are worried about that. Bitcoin's doing a whole lot of literally nothing. Now, whether you have my zones or not, maybe you guys were in panic mode. But if you have these random boxes that someone draws, myself, these are not an indicator. These are things that I draw. Again, looking supply and demand, looking for buyers and sellers. All we've done is we've come down here and we've bounced. And a lot of people are talking about how many times we bounced. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Had you bought Bitcoin for the last 6 times, you would have made money had you bought it and trailed it. I do not I do not trade Bitcoin. All I do is I buy it every week. It's panned out pretty well so far. I don't care about the 50 SMA on that. This was an indicator somebody brought up on a previous stream. We might use it when it comes to the S&P. For anyone that is new here, I don't use indicators at all. I need to turn that noise off. That's going to be noisy. Well, I'll have to figure that out here in a little bit. Sorry for the Discord noises. Nothing I can do. All right. Bitcoin. I think I'm bullish right now. I think we're going to stay in this range. I guess we'll see how we do at this 97, 98,000 range. I wouldn't mind it getting all up here again to this 102 range. But that's all it's done. It's just kind of hang out in this range. We had a tightening range right here. We did get above it, so let's make this just a tad bit brighter. I'm not changing the colors. The colors do have a meaning. Let me ask you something real quick. I'm thinking about making one of those mouse pads. You've seen them. It has all the chart patterns, but I also want to put a key on there that tells you like the colors of all the zones and what they mean and the lines. Is it? Should I just make one for myself because I think it'd be cool, or should I make a few of those? Yeah, just let me know. Anyway, so let's see if it breaks above this 99 level. From 92 to 99. If we get to the 103, there's kind of 2 ranges inside here. I think we make it. I do think we make a run for it. What'll be, I guess, the main point, the one key takeaway from this, we rejected this zone one more time. Now we're going to start talking about that's a lower high situation. So if we come into this zone and reject lower high, now I got to start questioning how many times we're going to bounce and hold on this. Make one and let's see how it turns out. They would make giveaway gifts. Yeah, I got a hold of a website, and they can make them regular, or they can make them with the RGB lighting around the edge. So I think I'm doing that. Everything else lights up. I might as well. Moving on to the S&P. Well, they're red right now. Red right now, but we're at a zone. So Friday at just close to the bell, I bought the dip. I bought some SPY calls. I got to say it was halfway forced trade. So I bought some 580 SPY calls for Friday. So I have all Friday for that to be at 580 or higher, about 585. I want to say I paid $500 for them for each contract. I want to say 585 is where I need to be at. But what I also did was I sold the 587s for tomorrow's expiration. Now I collected 63 or 67 bucks per contract on that. So tomorrow, if SPY is not above 587, I keep all that money, and I might just do that all week and just kind of sell some. I forget the delta. I want to say that was around the 20 deltas that I did, and I might just sell the 20 deltas just to see if we can't ease a little bit, unless we just start running and then I don't need to it. May I ask why you bought if we broke the low? Did we break this low right here? Is that what you're asking? Or did we break out of this range? Because you guys have seen me draw these ranges out and I'm talking about these red lines right here. I just can't make them any brighter for you guys. Now, anytime we do this, when we break out, that's likely the way that we're headed. In fact, that's why I was short the NASDAQ last week, was because we did break it. I was like, nah, I'm going short. Time to send it. I wonder if we're going to rein this thing back in. Maybe even check this zone. I feel okay about buying the dip right now, but this kind of has the makings of a bear trap. Okay, so breaking that range. That is a good question, because normally I would be going short. And maybe this is just an experience thing. Again, been doing this for 13 years now. I don't know if it's that. Maybe I just have a feeling. Maybe I'm just wrong. We did break that out. And 90% of the time, 99% of the time, I'll tell you it's probably time to just go short. Maybe there's a dead cat bounce, and maybe that's all I take advantage of is a dead cat bounce. Once we do get the green candles, it's up to the bulls to perform, right? They need to show up and do something. If the bulls show up and don't do anything at that point, no, we're just trending down and we're going for it, which is what I was talking about with my last session in the mentorship group. Is we kind of have these lower highs going on. So let's say we get back in. Maybe this range just sucks. The one thing to take with a grain of salt is this week, right now. This week, right now it's January 12th. This is our first full week in the stock market in a month. Right? Last week we had Carter Week. Before that, it was New Year's. Before that, it was Christmas. There's not been a full week for some time, which does play with the volume on some things. I doubt, Wall Street just took a whole month off, but I'm just curious how many people were jacking around. You're 1 foot out the door on Wednesday when they take Thursday off. You're not coming back on Friday and making any real moves. So we'll see how this pans out. I'm kind of thinking right now we at least catch a bounce. So I'm in that. But more importantly, I'm curious, do we stay below this zone right here? I think if we can get above this zone, then I think we're going to be all right. I think we actually push a little bit higher. Maybe we test the trend line. Maybe we test this zone up here. But that's kind of where my head's at. Ooh, if that doesn't happen, I might have to. If we don't get above this, I'm back short. I personally think the crash is going to happen around March. I'm just not sold on it yet. But the fact that even I'm thinking, hey, is it time to just go short across the board? I want to take off about 30% of my Meta and Tesla positions. So I'm selling the 40, 45 Delta calls. Now, if those get called away, I'm going to let the shares go. But is it time to just sell those now? Because I think I'm going to buy them cheaper later. Why not buy IWM instead? Got hit harder. It's not about how hard it got hit. It's just the trade in general. Right now, that ran right into a zone. And I think we're probably a little bit oversold, dead cat bounce. I think regardless, let's say we keep this trend down. My long position is going to be fine, as long as we pop up. We just need to not be down, and I'm good. The expected moves, they are all set up. Let me get that out of here. So for everyone that has my charts, these lines are the expected moves for the week. So the S&P right now for the week, 568 to 592. That's kind of what the market makers are expecting. I'll address these candles really quick right here. These zones are real. These candles are actually just 2022 copied and pasted over here. And I was going over this, how I think we're going to crash in March. I don't think it's going to be like a Rona crash where we just skydive. I think it's going to be a long knockdown, drag out, beat up process where over 2025, that's also, this is why I'm telling you guys, 2025 for me is is it a collection year? What's the accumulation year is the word I was using. I'm buying everything. I'm going to let it sell off. And then when I tell you guys I'm buying everything, I mean, I'm on a game show where I get to push the cart around, just knock whatever I can into the cart. That's what I'm buying. Everyone keeps saying like, hey, what are you buying? It's all the same stuff that I've been buying forever. I'm just going to buy a lot of it, more of it, and all of 2025. So the more it sells off for me, the better. Jumping into the NASDAQ right now. So this range we just talked about earlier was we broke out of this range, which is why I went short. I went short the NASDAQ. I also went short Tesla. So I went short the NQ contracts. I was short QQQ puts. There was a couple times I bought the dip and went long NQ, and that panned out pretty well. But mostly, yeah, I was short. It was a great trade. But right now, same thing. NASDAQ ran into that zone, and I'm kind of curious. It just looks like the S&P. I could repeat myself all again, but if you're just tuning in, especially if you're on TikTok, you can just rewind it on YouTube. This chart looks exactly the same. DIA is not Forex. No, DIA is the Dow Jones ETF. Kind of like QQQ is the ETF to the NASDAQ. SPY is the ETF to the S&P. DIA is Grandpa Dow. We can go over that right now. Grandpa Dow. Sorry, here's the futures. Same thing. So we've been very range bound up until Friday. Sorry, all these lines were my last session with my trading group. So one red day inside for forever. And it was just flat, but we were making lower highs. Finally just kicked that door in. This one I would be watching out for a dead cat bounce and probably a continuation. I mean, this is a smooth, just trend down. we hadn't sold off this much since 1978. You know, it's starting to get into the headlines. So they had a green day. You know, we're not here to set records. You know, so we changed it up a little bit. Now we continue back south. Got a little excited. You know, at this point, we're oversold. And as it goes sideways at RSI, not so oversold. Those EMAs start to catch up. We cool off all the indicators, and then we send it again. I don't know. Be a big bear trap everywhere if we somehow push. That's what I think is going on right now, as a matter of fact. Matt, one of my admins, called that out on YouTube chat. And that's what I'm saying. So he says, I've been meaning to ask, when you say it will happen in March, what do you mean? How do you define when it starts and when we're in it? I mean, March, as in there's January, February, March. That's what my calendar says. It's been that way my whole life. And red candles followed by more red candles. All sarcasm aside, this is just a leg down right now. I mean, when you look at a chart like this, that's nothing. Literally nothing. Okay. Any bull that bought over here hasn't even woken up. They don't care. They're not looking at their phones. Nothing. Same with the S&P. Look at that. Literally nothing. We're going to start breaking some key levels. We're going to push up and make lower highs. And right now, I mean, we're on like the daily time frame. We are really zoomed in and analyzing this. We're nitpicking. As traders, it's fine. That's day-to-day stuff, week to week. We will get on a trend down, and it'll show up on the weekly time frame, monthly time frame. Right now, all this is just a dip buy. Look at that. Who would be scared of this chart right now? No one. Buy it up. Why wouldn't you? CNBC is talking too much about a crash for there to be one yet. There's a lot of people talking about a crash right now, which also makes me believe this is probably just a bear trap. When the media comes out, again, just remember it's not what they're telling you, it's what they're selling you. What idea are they trying to push? Right now, it's a bunch of crash that creates not exit liquidity, that creates entry. So if I'm a big institution, I can go out there and buy everyone that believes that garbage, and as they panic sell their shares, I get to buy it all up. And then I won't have to worry about it because when I buy it all up that cheap price, I see a green candle, everybody FOMOs back in. They buy all their position back, and then it pushes it up for me. And then I get to sell it again for a real crash. So you make a quick profit right there, drop it all back down. Let's check out the Russell since it got hit harder. No. If I was going to buy the Russell, it would be in this zone right here. And notice it didn't. So to the comment earlier of why not buy the Russell, it got hit harder. We haven't really made it to that zone where the other ones had. Looking at the daily right now, someone did bring up the 50 SMA and how it was holding on a lot of things. And we're kind of challenging that. You know, like today, that could be the thing. Friday was the first day we really kind of got below and closed below. So let's see if we're starting to change that appearance. I'm saying crash in March. Now, I don't care if I'm right, wrong, early, late. I'm just gonna play the charts. These charts right now is everybody voting with their money. Once everybody starts selling, I don't care what. There's talking, and then there's money. All right. Follow the money, and then just enjoy tea time with the gossip girls. They're two different things. So I forget where I was going with that. Either way, I don't care. Right now, let's see if we start to fade this thing and head south. Let's see if it's a bear trap. Well, personally, I think it's early. That's where I was going. I think it's March. There's plenty of people that think it's now. Some people think it's February. Some people think it's June or July. The writing's on the wall. Just more importantly, there's everyone's opinion, including mine. That's just noise for now. Until it starts showing up and everybody starts selling, you have to just separate the two. Everyone's saying 5% on the 10-year. We did hit new heights. That's the selling excuse. Hopefully. Send it.